Cloud. All right, the meeting has recorded.
Okay, so I suppose we can just kick off since Bill's not here with minutes review approval. So I'm gonna have to go to my mail.
Now, did you send something, Kristen?
I sent the agenda on a, yes, on an email earlier today. Do you want me to resend it?
Well, I'm not in front of my email because I'm on Pam's computer.
Oh,
Um,
what? I sent it to the wrong email. I sent it to your old one. It was a bad habit. So what I can do is I actually have it up here. I can bring,
Let's say just email it to Pam.
you want me to email it to Pam?
Sure.
You guys have a home email?
Let me see if I can get,
I can send it to both.
just trying to open up.
Let me see if it's
Outlook.
easier if I can bring up, I can bring up the packet. That might help.
Yeah, you want to do it that way or just?
Yeah, I can do that. Yep, that's fine.
All right.
I think Bill is in the meeting now. Let me bring Bill to the meeting and then I'll share the packet.
Oh, Bill's here?
Yeah, he just got it.
Again, another wife. I love it. That is hysterical.
He's on mute. All right, so here's the agenda and then the minutes. Can you see that, Scott?
Yep.
These are the ones from the June 9th.
Okay.
Wait, I think that Ruth is Bill's daughter.
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, that's even funnier.
Okay.
Hey, Bill.
Hello.
Hey,
Those are just the
I
building.
I was laughing earlier because Scott and I both signed in on our wives' Zoom, and then you popped up as Ruth.
Yes. Little trouble. We got it.
So these are just the permits and the inspection reports.
Okay,
All right.
well, meeting's open. Bill's here. Do we want to make our first order of business? Taking
So
care
Bill,
of that?
yeah, so just to let you know, Bruce, are we okay that I can stop sharing the minutes from?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Well, I mean, unless Scott wants to scan them. I mean, it's
What I would like to do, Chris, is make a motion that we approve the minutes from June 9th as written.
second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're done.
Okay.
So, Bill, just so you know, Sarah from 95 Fox Run is in the Zoom meeting.
Yes.
I kind of put her in the waiting room, but I'm going to bring her back in now. Do you have my email from her earlier?
I do.
Okay, so let me I'm going to stop my recording so I can take the minutes and I will bring her back in. Hey, Sarah.
Hey there.
All right, so we got Bill into the meeting now, and he has the email you sent, so we can go over those, the topic of the business certificate.
Okay, excellent.
Okay. All right, Bill. Who's ever going to start that conversation?
Yeah, I don't know. Has the board seen the, hello, Sarah.
Hi, Bill.
Has the board seen the email?
I believe, if not, I can.
Is it in the packet?
Yes, it is in the packet. It's it's after 70, the garbage grinder receipt. Scott, I will go ahead and share that if that has helpful.
Okay, great.
I'm reading it right now.
Oh, share screen. So here's the email from Sarah.
And Sarah, maybe you can describe what you're proposing. Again, this is a home occupation business certificate request on Viewpoint.
Yes. Yep. So Basically just, a hobby of mine that I enjoyed doing while we were shut down from my full-time job, and had a lot of friends and family that were enjoying what I was making. So I said, you know what, I think I want to take this a little bit further, and see if I can promote it more online, see if I can grow the business and, bring it hopefully down the next few years into some sort of a storefront with a business plan that I have. So just starting at home right now, I'm the only person, it's just me handcrafting everything. Like I mentioned in my email, I don't have any preservatives added in. There's no chemicals. It's all natural oils and ingredients that are being used. So I know Bill and I had spoken, was there any additional water that was being used as far as making these products? There is not any additional water being used, just your, average household hand washing, dishwashing type water use. But I'm making exfoliant scrubs made with sugar. I'm making body lotion, hand lotions made with pure shea butter. I'm also making lip balm, which is made with soy wax. Again, shea butter, coconut oil, almond oil, vegetable glycerin, things like that. I am also making a hand sanitizer, which is just 70% isopropyl alcohol and aloe vera, and then an essential oil. But that's pretty much all I'm doing here in the home. Again, on my own, usually after my day job, I usually start making things around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at night. But I have a full-time job otherwise.
So I guess my only question, Sarah, would be where does, assuming if there is any, for lack of a better term, waste of all these oils, where do they go?
Usually either on my hands, on a paper towel, in excess, in the lotions, in the scrubs.
So nothing goes down the drain. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Nothing, no, definitely not. So if I use excess of it and I realize, oh my gosh, I used 2 tablespoons, I was only supposed to use 1 tablespoon, what am I going to do with that? I reserve it, I put it off to the side, and I use it, in something that I'm going to make later. So I never dump anything down the drain. It's always being utilized in something, or I'm taking the extra and I'm literally using it on my hands, my face, just because all of these oils are so good for your skin. So yeah, they definitely do not go down the drain. I don't waste them. Nope.
Okay. I guess that was my only concern, was looking at where you're using, and that's where we would not want it to go.
Right.
Bill, is there any other concerns or questions?
No, really, again, based on the quick viewpoint description, Sarah and I talked about, manufacturing, and it's just, okay, make sure there's not a lot of extra water use, what's going down the drain. So that's why I asked her to, generate this email to kind of describe what she's actually doing in a little more detail.
Yeah, definitely not manufacturing. I apologize for using that term. Doing everything by hand and hand mixer. So yeah, definitely no manufacturing going on here. Give me a few years and then maybe I'll have some manufacturing happening.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I've got no objection or concern whatsoever. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we need to do anything formally here.
Well, based on this discussion, I will take care of that on Viewpoint next time in front of a laptop.
Outstanding. All right. Sarah, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, guys. Nice meeting you.
And you as
Good to
well.
meet
Sarah,
you.
have a
Good
good
luck,
night.
Sarah.
Take care.
Thanks, Kristen. You too.
All right. So I guess we can, let's dig right into the meat. Mr. Slater, what
All
is
right,
going on?
so he called this morning, could not make it. I still opted to keep his name on the agenda anyways, rather than sending out a revise. So again, let me go back into the share screen. I got a call from Bridget last Tuesday, saying she was having a few problems, not problems, but just they were going through some discussions on what he could and could not do at the restaurant, given the fact of where the state is on at that point in time, phased opening. So her email here says, as discussed yesterday, you are not approved to do the following: cooking or preparing food outside. I guess he has a mobile pizza oven, which is not permitted for food at this point in time. The mobile food truck has not been approved or inspected by the Board of Health. He is building some kind of bar outside. There are no plans submitted for that to the Board of Health. I did speak with Mike. He felt what he was building was more of a serving area for the drinks as opposed to a bar that would have seats and you would be able to sit and get your food there. This would just kind of be a place to go up and order a drink and, more of a mobile kind of thing. He's only approved for 60 seats at the establishment. There should be no more than 60 seats inside and outside combined.
I think that's a typo. I think it's 50 on the permit for the septic system.
All right, so 50.
Yeah.
He was actually, when he called to make the appointment for tonight, it was to speak about the septic system. Another thing, I guess he wanted to have some July 4th music for everybody. That is not permitted until phase 3. And we are not there yet. There is no outdoor entertainment of any kind. So Bridget, on a side note, also informed me that she's informed Botini's and the winery of that as a FYI as well. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to send a letter from the Board of Health to those, from, our office for that too. This is a reminder. And then the number 6 there is your current septic system has not received the final certificate of compliance. So I don't know where they are, where everybody, Bill, where you are with the septic system.
Well, we issued a letter, let's see, July of last year, requiring 6 items, and we've received 1 in the past year. So I think it's time to maybe reissue that letter and maybe turn the heat up a little bit. Technically, there shouldn't be sewage going into the system until it receives a certificate of compliance. When it's an existing building, I think we're a little bit flexible with that, but a year I think is plenty of time to get the other items in order. So I think we should send another letter.
Yeah, and I can stop by. I almost did just to find out what fresh hell he was up to. Because I think it's pretty clear what needs to happen here. So
yeah, I think the whole seat issue is there's X number of seats approved on the septic permit. How he chooses to use those seats is up to him. If he splits them between in and outdoor, all out, all in, some kind of a mix. But that's the number of seats he's approved for.
and what if, because assuming that the patio is a seasonal thing, I assume he could have porta potties as an option, kind of like Rich does up at the winery, or
Bridget doesn't
or for events,
agree with
I guess.
that. I think the board had discussed that with him a while back, like for larger type, one-day type functions. We should probably look at the previous minutes to see what was discussed at that time. Bridget's concern is even if you have portable toilets, taking away the bathroom use, you're still potentially cooking for greater than the number of people you're approved for. And in the septic system, it's not only number of seats, but it's also based on kitchen flow.
Sure. And is he still giving us well flow
We
information?
haven't seen those in a few. He has in the past, but we can add that to our letter. Yep.
I guess for me, that's the kind of the safety is if we know what his system can handle.
Yep.
And historically, he has been under.
Yes, he has.
That's. But if we see an exponential change that day, then I would start to get a little nervous about it. So.
Yeah. We can ask for that in the letter also.
But we should set a deadline for this.
Yeah, that would be
For
wise.
compliance, or we should shut them down.
I think we could close the letter saying that. Must obtain a COC by. I don't have the permit right in front of me, but there's probably an expiration date on it, or the board could certainly, set a time frame and say that if the certificate's not obtained by that date, that the board will be, may take action against the food service permit. Yeah. So, I don't know if you want to pick a date, tonight or see what the permit says.
Well, I guess let's pick a date tonight. I guess, Bill, using your breadth and depth of experience, what would be a reasonable timeline for Bruce to? I'm sure some of this stuff is just dumb, like we need engineers as built or something.
Well, I can buzz through the list. It's pretty straightforward. Engineers as built, the Presby sand certification. He does have to record the Presby IA deed notice and the deed of the property, the Presby installation form, and the owner acknowledgement form. These are all one-page documents, just need to be signed. One of them needs to be recorded in the deed, but again, it's really nothing major. It's pretty standard stuff. So
reasonable to give him 30 days to.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say 2 weeks, but 30 days is.
Well,
I would say 30 days is ample.
And we're still, I don't know what the registry's like these days. I mean, I don't know.
I think things can be mailed in. So I think 30 is plenty.
Okay.
So July 23rd, and that gives him one more opportunity to attend a meeting on July 14th if he has questions, comments, and concerns.
Yep.
Well, at the end of the day, we're all available to talk to him about any of this stuff.
Right.
As any citizen, I would say that.
Yeah, when he called me today, he did ask when the next meeting was, and I did tell him I would put him on the agenda for that. So once we get that letter to him, Bill, we can talk tomorrow if we want that certified regular mail.
I guess while we're given a time frame, probably certified mail. And again, July 17th, 2019 was our previous letter. It'd be quite simple to modify that existing letter to what we're asking for tonight.
Okay. You said.
So in terms of what we're asking for tonight, just so I understand, is that we're asking him to close out his permit on the system upgrade.
To obtain a certificate of compliance for the system upgrade. Yep.
Okay. However, he's got, I mean, the food truck, it didn't even cross my mind. I mean, I've been to it, I've been around, I've talked to Bruce. There are other things he needs to, and whether this is something that he wants to manage with Bridget, I get, but it looks like he's got to close that piece out as well pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bridget's email stands, his use is limited to, what the septic was approved and designed for. And as far as the outside, the food truck, things like that, absolutely would need to work with Bridget on that if he wanted to get it licensed.
Okay. So do we know whether he's going to use that or not? Well, it's Bruce. I don't know. We'll find out.
So right now,
You'll know.
so right now he's authorized to prepare food in the kitchen and do outdoor seating.
Correct. The whole idea of,
guidelines.
yeah, the outdoor seating, correct. Things are prepared inside and brought out, served outside. Same thing with alcohol, poured inside, brought outside for consumption, but not, cooking outside, not literally pouring or serving outside.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did talk, excuse me, to Mike, building inspector regarding the bar, because there was no permit for that. He didn't feel that type of structure would need a building department permit, given its small size. I guess he did go by there. Again, which leads me to believe it wasn't a large sit-down kind of bar. The other thing we are working on is getting the builder to call in the final inspection on the pavilion.
Yeah, you think that would be done before it's used?
One would think. So I have called, Mike has called. We really can't have Bruce just call it in. It needs to come in from the contractor, especially in this type of situation. So I will be following up again.
Well, Kristen, who pulled that permit? Was it Circle B that pulled that permit?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just start giving Tom a rash of shit, and I'm sure you'll get him to act.
So he's gotten 2 voicemails, one from me, one from Mike, and he has not.
Well,
It's been a week. I called him last week.
he's
So
yeah,
I'll do it again. I will call again tomorrow.
Okay, so I take back what he said. What I said. Then he really can't operate till he gets the permits, the building permits. Right?
Well, I think there are two things that work here. I guess that was what I was trying to parse out, is that we still need information on the system upgrade, which he did for 1,000-gallon system, which is what we can write the letter for. And I'm okay giving him 30 days to get that paperwork in order, because it is all
Yeah.
just paperwork. However, I think to that point, Scott, I would insist that he attend our next meeting and ideally have a clear plan for us in terms of what these outstanding items are. Give him the 2 weeks until the next meeting to close out the building permit on the pavilion.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like the bar area is not actually a bar, but a serving station. I don't know. I mean, I almost feel like we need to have Bruce as part of this dialogue to find out what he's doing or
Correct.
what the intention of these things are.
And
Yeah,
I also wonder how much has changed now that indoor dining has been approved by the state. Is he still going to go through with, I mean, I think it sounds like he has some more grand plans that he'll
Listen,
get permits and permission for.
You're going to see Patrick Swayze down here. This is Roadhouse, baby.
I think the reason Bridget made this an issue was she pretty much asked him, "Are you building a bar?" And he said yes. So that's why it's come to this.
Oh, you
the
would think that after this many years of us trying to coach Bruce,
Yeah.
too funny. All right, well, moving on. So,
Okay.
all right, so the system, we've got a plan, 30 days, letters going out. I think we should also, in the same letter, or perhaps a second letter, insist that he attend the next meeting, because we do have some items that need to be taken care of. Looking at this letter from Bridget, I would almost be happy to make this letter the kind of meeting agenda for us and Bruce to find out where he stands in all these things.
Okay.
Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, sure.
So that'll be July 14th.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, so moving on, are we all satisfied we're done talking about Slate Rocks?
Bill, anything else to add to that?
On Mr. Slater?
Correct.
No.
Okay. Okay, so letter going out, 30 days, system wrap up, see you in 2 weeks, and have some answers ready for us. And I'll stop by and see Bruce and just reinforce this with him, because he is a friend and all in the spirit of being open and honest. So I'm happy to give him a little bit of shit and ask him to kind of make this work. So moving on, coronavirus updates. Kristen, I'm going to ask you to
Sure.
jump in on that one. And we've lost your face. What happened to?
I typed the minutes while we're talking, and I'm
okay.
kind of zoned out, so I don't look like I'm paying attention. So I take my video off. Coronavirus updates are I still attend the calls twice a week. A lot of they get a lot of questions that don't necessarily pertain to Bolton. They have a lot of community pool questions right now. One thing I did hear today that kind of stood out is federal employees are exempt, say, from wearing a mask. So if your mail delivery person comes to your house and does not have a mask, that is technically okay, as they are federal employees and federal overrules state. I do not believe that is any issue in Bolton. It's just one of those things that at least call, there's one thing that jumps out as a, wow, I didn't know that. Haven't really heard anything from Bumper or police department or people in town that they're seeing citizens out of compliance with masks. I think everyone's sort of used to it at this point. As we saw at the town meeting last night, it was well attended outdoors. Everyone had masks on as they were checking in. So I think that's going really well. Town hall still closed to the public or by appointment only. So still no Friday hours for you, Bill.
Yes.
But I think that box outside we have helps for you to get paperwork to me and vice versa.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anything new as far as coronavirus goes. The state started phase 2, part 2, so indoor dining can commence. So we have, again, Slater's. I did not see anything from the winery or Fotini's, nor I didn't really get anything for the outdoor dining either. Rich Pelletier did send a pretty big plan, but it was all put in place. So if there's any concerns that you guys would have, I can reach out, we can send them letters, maybe just, I know Bridget's involved with, managing all of that. So, but if there's anything from a local standpoint of, from the town of Bolton that we want to send any of those restaurants or any of the food establishments, just let me know and I'm happy to get something together.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're getting a lot of just news, emails. I think we're all pretty well informed. So
Right. One thing I did, I do post still, Chris, the email from Jim Garaffi.
yep.
I just send it out through the Board of Health news and announcement, just given the fact that the state is still posting numbers on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I really get to post his number, it's Monday of the following week. So, but we have not had a change in 3 weeks. We're still at that same number. So
Outstanding.
kudos to Bolton.
Excellent. Okay. And Scott, so I'm going to ask you to give us a mosquito response update.
I think you're pretty well up to speed, Chris.
Well, I was
On,
there. I know Kristen was there. I'm not sure if Bill was not there. We know that.
So we did, Bill proposed that Bolton join the Central Massachusetts Mosquito Project. And we did get approval to move forward with that. It's been turned down 3 times before. So we were really happy that it got approved. So this means that, they will be doing mosquito testing for West Nile virus and Triple E in Bolton. And, if we do have a significant problem, there will be some spraying of like athletic fields, parks, and some neighborhoods as well. Citizens do have the option to opt out of having their property sprayed. We're hoping it doesn't get to that in terms of spraying, because they do a lot of things to reduce mosquito habitats proactively, ditch maintenance, and, some appropriate wetlands management, et cetera. So, and they do use some larvicides as well to try and stop the mosquitoes from hatching. So I think it's going to be good. But we'll see how it goes. At least it gives us the option to, be able to respond if we have, infected mosquitoes and we're wondering about whether to close the athletic fields. We now have an approach. We are, we're going to have one more meeting of the mosquito committee. Chris, just to do it with Timothy Deschamps, the executive director, and, make sure that we understand what the next steps are, and,
Right.
That any of the commissions or departments that have questions can, talk directly to Tim. And then from there on, it probably will be up to the Board of Health to be like the main focal point for this program.
Which is great. Yeah.
So with regards to that, Scott, sorry to interrupt. Is this something maybe to address on the next agenda? Just sort of have a protocol in place or start thinking about that, whether those, I know in some of the meetings it was talked about, once we get to level 1, we do this, and level 4 is town needs to be sprayed. So I don't know if that's something that we should it should go on the next agenda to give a little bit of time to figure out
Yeah,
how Tim starts the process. I know, whereas, it's still only June 23rd, and his email did indicate that they kind of already started some work, but, in all reality, we passed that budget item for fiscal 2021 after July 1st. So I don't really think there's going to be too much done in the next week. But I do think that we should probably, whether that's with the committee, the mosquito committee, or the Board of Health, just start to come up with what the process of working with Tim should be.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, we definitely should put it on the agenda. Chris, I don't think, I can't remember if we've shared it in a meeting or not, but we developed, I think, 4 different threat levels, we called it. And we kind of outlined what we would recommend, the approach be. So we probably should have something that's, like our policy in terms of, when would we spray the athletic fields? At what
Right.
point do we decide they really need to be closed, if at all? And, those kinds of things.
Sure. Yeah, so Scott, if let me know when your next meeting is, because I'd love to sit in silently just to check it out. Because I guess that was my next question. It's like, okay, we're approved, how do we action this as a town? And then to your point, what's our role in terms of, calling in, I assume most of it is just they will come in, do an assessment and do their work. But to your point, there may be a discovery of a mosquito near Forbush, do we spray? And that's where we step in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we probably should go through that, what we outlined, Kristen, with Tim Deschamps as well, because, their program, they don't offer a ton of flexibility to individual towns. So they may say, hey, if it gets to that point, we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. It's not open for debate. So, we'll have to see. But yeah, we need to figure out, how much we need to be involved and when and
Okay.
how
So you're gonna have one more meeting,
Mhm.
and this is gonna be the kind of how do we action this with Tim, and then you'll bring that back to us and let us know what we're doing.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and we'll invite you, and you don't have to be a silent participant. You can, actively be involved, because I think we need to figure out really, the details of how this is going to work.
Sure. And hopefully a lot of it, Tim will be able to roadmap a lot of this for us already. I'm sure, obviously we're far from the first town to do this. I'm sure there are many towns like Bolton, so he can kind of shepherd us through the process, is my hope.
Yeah.
Great. Well, again,
And
excellent work. And thank you for what you did, and thank you for getting it passed. I'm starting to think it's me, that the town was just like, no, we're not having this.
Well, that's great news. I know it's been attempted, right?
Yeah, no,
It was pretty, I attended the meeting as well. I was outside. But I got really nervous when they were getting ready to do the vote, and which way was it really going to go? But I do not believe there was no counting needed, and it was not very close. So I think it's time.
Well, there were those suspicious 12 in the gymnasium.
Yeah, that was
6
a
and
little.
6. I'm like, who are these people? But yeah, no, it's not often I can say I was happy to have been at town meeting, but last night I was happy to have been at town meeting.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
all right. Next on the agenda, 6 McNulty Road. Anything new here?
I haven't heard anything new. I
No.
don't know if Mike has.
Mike was meeting with the owner to talk about his issues, and I reminded Mike to, mention that the Board of Health still had that outstanding issue. And, again, if courts are open, it may be time to have it served and move forward if they're not going to respond.
Do you want me to follow up with Mike tomorrow?
See if he's done a site visit yet, and maybe what the owner had to say.
All right,
Yeah, I mean, I can give Mike a call too and just get his feel on it, but
Okay.
yeah, there's some stuff going on down there, so it'd be nice to kind of lock that down. Let's see, our friend's irrigation well, any new action on that? Is Andy giving
I
us?
actually issued that permit Monday because he did go back to the original plan, which had a potable, the irrigation well shown on that plan met potable offsets. So in the past,
Okay.
that hasn't been an issue. Yep.
Is that Monday, the 22nd, or last Monday, Bill?
22nd.
A second, okay.
Excellent, and that's fair. That's always been our kind of our benchmark. 73 Coventry Wood Way garbage grinder update.
I am going to share the receipt that was sent in so everyone can see that. Hold on, share screen. Bridget. All right, so here's the email from Chris McCauley. I believe he's not the homeowner, but he's the executor of the estate. Replied to me, called me after he got the letter, and this is the remove garbage grinder disposal. You can see here in the middle and just what that cost came out to. It was done on June 9th.
Great.
So I'll get the
Okay.
standard letter.
Let's see, 97 Fox Run Road, we dealt with already for the business certificate, which brings us now to 104 Spectacle Hill Road.
Yep, there's some motion there. They're actually deepening the existing well before they begin the septic system. I did receive an email from the owner, so he's moving forward on that project. I think, we still may draft a letter just, requiring that, the system be upgraded as part of the original building permit approval, just so it's in print.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's their intention regardless.
Well, yes, because of the addition's pretty much a house attached to
Yeah.
the old home. So, that
Oh,
was,
is this that house that built that massive?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Crazy. Okay.
But he did email me and said he was talking to installers. So, I think we'll still issue a letter, letting him know that it has to be done.
Yeah, I think that'd be a wise move. All right, then moving on to building permits. Bill, anything in these permits worth discussing?
No, again, if I approve them, they're straightforward. The only question was 97 Fox Run, which we've resolved.
Excellent. Okay. And moving on to septic permits. So we've got the permit upgrade for the Regency.
I think this was just, we carried that over. Bill, I sent the letter, just address it to, I did a Google search.
Yep.
Just address it to the Regency at whatever number Main Street, and it was returned undeliverable.
Okay.
So I don't know if we need to, I asked Jenny about it. She didn't know if it's something that we need to send to every resident over there.
Maybe reach out to Jack Maloney. He might have a contact.
Okay.
Board of directors, I think, would make sense versus.
Right, that's what I thought too. It wasn't an individual. I think sending that many
That's the
people.
contact. They're well aware. The residents are well aware of what's happening out there.
So
I
it's Jack Maloney.
haven't completed the review of that plan at this point. So, if I get to it between meetings, I can certainly alert the board to see if we can let them move forward, or if not, definitely be on the next agenda.
Sounds good. So, but it's moving in the right direction, so I'm not going to worry about it one bit. Which now brings us to inspection reports. Anything of note in these 4 reports, Bill?
64 Coventry Wood Road is a conditional pass, and the report indicates that the tank's down to the seam, so it's obviously leaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I was contacted by an installer because the one comment in the report says tank must be repaired or replaced. So the installer contacted me about sealing the tank. But if you look at page, first of all, it's a 1973 tank. So we're talking, 47 years old.
Yep.
And then if we go to page 10, it says that septic tank in poor condition, surface deterioration noted, only half full. So, you know, sealing a tank of this age with that description, I don't know if that's a wise choice. I told the owner that we would talk about it tonight and decide if the board was going to require it to be simply repaired or just fully replaced with a new 1500.
That sounds to me like a pretty clear replace.
I agree, but again, it certainly warranted the discussion just so he can hear it directly.
Yeah. I mean, because what are you doing? You're going to patch something that will likely fail again in the near future.
Yeah, based on the description, it certainly sounds like it's showing its age.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Scott, what do you think? Does that make sense to you?
Yep, yep.
So we'll get a permit issued for that.
Okay. Outstanding.
The other reports were straightforward passes. Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Any other business that we need to discuss tonight?
No, I did talk to Mr. Slade tonight. He was asking again if the meeting was at the Houghton Building. I informed him no, we do it all this fancy way now, and he said just to let him know when they're back at the Houghton Building, and he'll come by.
I think if we can, I guarantee between Sarah or Teresa or somebody, we can get them set up on a Zoom.
Correct. I don't feel that building will be open for meetings. While there's plenty of space for our meetings to take place, I just think that the public meeting forum, planning board advisor, everything, selectmen is going to, I think it's going to be advised that they keep it on Zoom for a little while longer. We have the
Yeah.
software. So yeah, I think that,
All right. Well, I'm gonna see what I can do to
Okay.
get him on our next
Yep.
at our next meeting.
If I can figure it out, he can.
Exactly. But if any of us, I mean, like I said, we're all signing in, and our
first
wives
one
and
is
our
not a good
daughters,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we can do it, he can do it. Absolutely. All right. With that being said, any other business to discuss?
That's all I have.
All right, Scott.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. See you in 2 weeks, if not before.
All right.
Night,
Take
guys.
care. Bye-bye.